This is the disappearance of Brian Shaffer. Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student from Columbus, Ohio. He was described as an intelligent, outgoing, and someone who had a bright future ahead of him. He was close with his family and friends, and by all accounts, he lived a normal life. However, there was one difficult thing happening in his life at the time. Just weeks before his disappearance, Brian's mother had passed away. Despite this, Brian still went out that night with his friends, possibly trying to take his mind off everything and enjoyed himself for a while. No one could have imagined that this would be the last time anyone would see him. On March 31st, 2006, Brian went out with a friend. His friend's name was William Clint Florence. They went out to celebrate the start of spring break. They had already been drinking early in the night before arriving at the bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloon, located in Columbus. The bar was on the second floor of the building, and the main entrance was monitored by security cameras. Around 1:15 a.m., Brian was seen entering the bar on CCTV footage. Later on, he briefly stepped outside and was seen talking casually with two women near the entrance. There was nothing unusual about his behavior. He appeared relaxed, calm, and completely normal. After this short conversation, Brian turned around and walked back into the bar. That moment, Brian walking back into the bar would become the last confirmed sighting of him. Because of that, he was never seen again. The same cameras that captured Brian entering the bar were also recording everyone who left that night. But when investigators reviewed the footage, Brian Shaffer was not among them. Every single person who entered the bar appeared to leave, except for Brian. It was as if he simply vanished inside. As the night went on, Brian's friend eventually left the bar without him. They assumed that he had either gone home on his own or left with someone else. At the time, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But when Brian failed to return home, and no one could get into contact with him, concern grew quickly. Soon after, he was officially reported missing. Police immediately began investigating and focused heavily on the surveillance footage. They carefully analyzed hours of video, watching every person entering and exiting the bar that night. But no matter how many times they reviewed it, Brian never appeared leaving. Investigators then looked into the possibility that he may have used an alternative exit. At the time, the building was undergoing renovations, and there were construction areas that raised questions. However, many of these exits were either difficult to access, monitored, or would have still required Brian to pass through them. Despite this, no clear footage or evidence ever showed him leaving the building. Over the years, several theories have suggested to explain Brian's disappearance. One theory is that he somehow managed to leave through a blind spot or a construction area that wasn't covered by cameras. Another possibility is that something happened to him inside or near the bar, something that went unnoticed in a crowded, late-night environment. Some have even suggested that Brian may have chosen to disappear voluntarily and start a new life. But this theory is widely doubted. Brian left behind everything, his family, his future, and his entire life, with no evidence of planning or preparation. There have been no confirmed sightings, no financial activity, and no contact since that night. What makes this case so unsettling is how impossible it feels. The amount of people that were around that night. This wasn't some empty place. It was a busy bar filled with people, music, and movement, which raises the important question: how does someone disappear in a place like that without anyone noticing anything unusual? No arguments, no signs of panic, no witnesses coming forward with anything concrete. It's like Brian simply blended into the environment and then vanished. And even after all these years, investigators still have no clear answer. Some cases are confusing, but this one feels impossible, because everything about it suggests that someone should have seen something, but no one did.